A third grader's homework would teach Ellen DeGeneres the true meaning of heroism. The Ellen DeGeneres Show was in full swing at the Warner Brothers studio in Burbank, with Ellen commanding the stage in her classic white button-down and navy blazer combination that had become as iconic as her infectious laugh. The studio audience of 300 was buzzing with their usual enthusiasm, their energy filling the familiar space decorated with the show's trademark blue sky backdrop, white clouds, and swaying palm trees. The famous white chairs with their sleek black wooden legs sat ready for another afternoon of heartwarming conversation. "Welcome back, everybody," Ellen called out as the opening music faded, her radiant smile lighting up the studio. "We have such an incredible show for you today, and I'm about to bring out someone very special. She's only 10 years old, but she has a story that I think is going to remind all of us what true courage really looks like." Behind the scenes, production assistants moved with practiced efficiency, camera operators fine-tuned their shots, and the technical crew monitored everything from the control booth. It was Thursday afternoon, and the show was running with the polished precision that had made Ellen's program a beacon of hope and human connection for nearly 2 decades. In the green room, 10-year-old Lily Chen sat quietly in an oversized chair, her small hands carefully holding a folded piece of notebook paper that looked ordinary but contained something extraordinary. The paper was slightly wrinkled from being handled so many times, and there were small stains on it that might have been tears. Lily's dark hair was pulled back in a neat ponytail with a small purple ribbon that matched her dress, and despite her young age, there was something remarkably mature about her presence. Lily had written what would become the most important homework assignment of her life just 2 weeks ago. Her third-grade teacher, Mrs. Patterson, had given the class what seemed like a simple assignment. Write a 1-page essay about your biggest hero and explain why they inspire you. Most of Lily's classmates had chosen predictable heroes: Superman, their favorite athletes, firefighters, or police officers. But Lily had chosen someone much closer to home, someone whose heroism had been tested in ways that no comic book character could ever match. She had written about her mother, Grace Chen, who had died from breast cancer just 3 months earlier, after a 2-year battle that had consumed their family's entire world. Grace had been diagnosed when Lily was 7, turning what should have been carefree childhood years into a crash course in hospitals, treatments, and the kind of adult fears that no 7-year-old should have to understand. The little girl had watched her mother transform from the vibrant, energetic woman who used to dance around their kitchen while cooking dinner, who would chase Lily through the house playing tag, who never missed a school event or bedtime story, into someone who fought every single day just to stay alive for her daughter. But even as Grace's body weakened, her spirit remained unbreakable, her love for Lily growing even stronger as she realized how precious their time together truly was. Grace had been determined not to let her illness rob Lily of her childhood. Even on days when the chemotherapy left her nauseated and exhausted, Grace would find ways to be present for her daughter. She attended every single school event, sometimes wearing scarves to cover her hair loss, sometimes arriving in a wheelchair when walking became too difficult. She helped Lily with homework from her hospital bed during lengthy treatments, turning math problems into games and spelling words into songs. The essay had started simply enough. "My hero is my mom, but she's not my hero anymore because heroes live on Earth, and my mom lives with the angels now." From there, Lily had poured her heart onto the page, describing how her mother had taught her that being brave didn't mean not being scared. It meant being scared and doing what needed to be done anyway. When Mrs. Patterson had read Lily's essay aloud to the class, something unprecedented had happened. The entire third-grade classroom had fallen completely silent, and then, one by one, her classmates had started crying. Not the kind of crying that comes from scraped knees or playground disagreements, but the deeper tears that come when children first understand that the world contains both profound sadness and incredible beauty. Mrs. Patterson, a veteran teacher with 20 years of experience, had never encountered anything quite like Lily's essay. As she read it aloud to the class, she found herself having to pause several times to compose herself. The raw honesty and mature understanding of love and loss was unlike anything she had seen from a student so young. Mrs. Patterson had called Lily's father that afternoon, not because Lily was in trouble, but because she felt that the essay was too powerful, too important, to remain within the walls of their classroom. She had suggested that perhaps Lily's story needed to be shared with a wider audience, with people who could appreciate the wisdom and courage that this 10-year-old had displayed. That conversation had eventually led to this moment, sitting in Ellen's green room, waiting to share the most intimate details of her grief and love with millions of viewers. Lily's father, James, had initially been hesitant about exposing his daughter to such a public platform, but Lily herself had been eager to share her mother's story. "I want people to know about Mom," Lily had told her father, with a determination that reminded him painfully of Grace. "I want them to know that she was the best hero ever, even if she couldn't save herself." A production assistant appeared at the green room door. "Lily, you're up in just a minute, sweetheart. You ready?" Lily nodded, clutching the homework assignment a little tighter. She had been nervous about appearing on television, but something about Ellen's reputation for kindness and understanding made her feel safe. She had watched Ellen's show with her mother during Grace's treatments, and it had become one of their special bonding activities. "Please welcome Lily Chen," Ellen announced, and Lily walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. The audience immediately embraced this small, poised figure walking across the stage. Lily moved with a confidence that seemed beyond her years, though Ellen could see the slight tremor in her hands as she approached the interview area. Ellen's maternal instincts kicked in immediately as she knelt down to Lily's level for a warm hug before they settled into the iconic white chairs. "Hi, Lily," Ellen said, her voice gentler than usual as she adjusted her approach for her youngest guest. "How are you feeling? This is pretty exciting, isn't it?" "I'm a little nervous," Lily admitted, her voice clear and honest, "but I'm mostly excited because I get to talk about my mom." Ellen's heart immediately warmed to this remarkable child. "I'd love to hear about your mom. But first, tell me about this special homework assignment you brought with you today." Lily carefully unfolded the piece of notebook paper, smoothing it out on her lap. "My teacher, Mrs. Patterson, told us to write about our biggest hero. Most kids wrote about superheroes or famous people, but I wrote about my mom." "That's beautiful," Ellen said, leaning forward with genuine interest. "What makes your mom a hero?" Lily looked down at her essay, then back up at Ellen with eyes that held depths of understanding far beyond her 10 years. "Well, she used to be my hero when she was here on Earth, but now she's with the angels, so I had to change what I wrote about her." Ellen felt her throat tighten as she began to understand the profound loss this child had experienced. "Tell me about your mom, Lily. What was she like?" "Her name was Grace, and she was the most beautiful mom in the world," Lily began, her voice growing stronger as she talked about her favorite subject. "She had long black hair that smelled like flowers, and she always sang when she cooked dinner. She made the best chocolate chip cookies, and she read me stories every single night before bed." "She sounds wonderful," Ellen said softly. "She was," Lily agreed. "But then she got sick, really, really sick. The doctors called it cancer, and it made her hair fall out and made her very tired. But even when she was sick, she was still my hero." The studio had grown noticeably quieter as the audience began to grasp the weight of Lily's story. Ellen reached over and gently placed her hand on Lily's arm. "That must have been very scary for you," Ellen said. Lily nodded. "It was scary. But Mom taught me that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do what you need to do even when you are scared. And Mom was so brave, Ellen. Even when the medicine made her throw up, even when she was too tired to get out of bed, she still helped me with my homework and came to my school plays and tucked me in at night." Ellen was fighting back tears now, amazed by this child's ability to articulate such complex emotions with such clarity. "Can you read me part of your homework assignment?" Ellen asked gently. Lily looked down at the paper and began to read in her clear, young voice. "My hero is my mom, but she's not my hero anymore because heroes live on Earth, and my mom lives with the angels now. But that doesn't mean she stopped being brave. It just means she's being brave in a different place." The studio was completely silent now, except for the soft sound of people crying. Ellen wiped her eyes, no longer concerned about maintaining her professional composure. "What else did you write about her?" Ellen asked, her voice thick with emotion. Lily continued reading. "When my mom was sick, she never complained, even though I know she hurt a lot. She kept taking care of me and Daddy, and she kept smiling even when I could see tears in her eyes. She told me that love is stronger than anything, even stronger than being sick, and that even when people go to heaven, their love stays behind with the people they care about." Ellen had to pause for a moment, overwhelmed by the wisdom and love contained in this child's words. "Lily, that's beautiful. How do you feel about your mom being in heaven?" "I miss her so much," Lily said simply. "I miss her hugs and her songs and the way she made everything better when I was sad. But I know she's watching me, and I know she's proud of me. Sometimes I talk to her, and even though I can't hear her voice, I can feel her love." Ellen made a decision that would define this moment forever. She stood up from her chair and moved to sit closer to Lily, taking the little girl's hands in her own. "Lily, I want you to know something very important," Ellen said, looking directly into the child's eyes. "Your mom didn't stop being your hero when she went to heaven. She became an even bigger hero because now she's protecting you and loving you from a place where nothing can ever hurt her or take that love away." Lily's eyes lit up at this thought. "Really?" "Absolutely," Ellen said firmly. "And you know what else? You're a hero too. Do you know why?" Lily shook her head, curious. "Because you're carrying your mom's love with you everywhere you go. Every time you're brave, every time you're kind, every time you help someone else, you're showing the world what your mom taught you. That makes you a hero, just like her." The audience was openly crying now, moved not just by Lily's story, but by Ellen's ability to help this child understand the continuing power of her mother's love. "Ellen," Lily said quietly. "Yes, sweetheart?" "Do you think my mom can see us right now?" Ellen looked up toward the studio lights, then back at Lily with absolute certainty. "I know she can, and I know she's so proud of how brave you've been, and how you're sharing her story to help other people understand that love never really ends." Lily smiled then, the first truly radiant smile she had shown since coming on stage. "I hope she liked my homework assignment." "I think she loved it," Ellen said, pulling Lily into another hug. "And I think she loves you more than all the stars in the sky." As Ellen held this remarkable child, she turned to address the camera directly. "Grace Chen, wherever you are, your daughter is extraordinary. She carries your courage, your love, and your spirit with her every single day, and she's teaching all of us what it really means to be a hero." The audience rose to their feet in spontaneous applause, not the typical television applause, but something deeper, more meaningful. They were acknowledging not just Lily's courage, but the eternal bond between mothers and children that transcends even death. The episode aired exactly as it happened, becoming one of the most emotionally powerful segments in Ellen Show history. The clip was shared millions of times across social media, with viewers from around the world commenting on Lily's wisdom and the way she honored her mother's memory. But the real impact of Lily's appearance went far beyond television ratings. Within days of the episode airing, Mrs. Patterson's classroom was flooded with letters from children around the world who had also lost parents. Teachers began using Lily's essay as an example of how to write about difficult topics with honesty and grace. Grief counselors requested copies to share with families struggling with similar losses. 6 months later, Lily returned to Ellen's show with an update that brought even more tears of joy. She had started a project at her school called Hero Letters, where children could write about family members they had lost. The letters were compiled into a book, with proceeds going to families dealing with medical expenses. "How did you come up with this idea?" Ellen asked during the follow-up interview. "I realized that lots of kids have heroes in heaven," Lily said with the same wisdom that had characterized her first appearance. "And I thought maybe if we all shared our stories, we wouldn't feel so alone. Plus, I think all our moms and dads and grandparents in heaven would like knowing that we're still talking about them." Ellen hugged Lily again, marveling at how this child continued to find ways to turn her grief into something that helped others. "Your mom would be so proud," Ellen told her. "I know," Lily said with quiet confidence. "I can feel it, because sometimes a homework assignment is more than just schoolwork. Sometimes it's a child's way of processing the impossible, of finding meaning in loss, of discovering that love truly is stronger than death. And sometimes a 10-year-old girl can teach an entire world that heroes don't stop being heroes when they die. They just become a different kind of hero, one that lives on in the hearts and actions of those they've touched." Grace Chen's legacy lives on not just in her daughter's remarkable courage, but in every person who heard Lily's story and was inspired to love more fearlessly, to appreciate more deeply, and to understand that the greatest heroes are often the ones who love us quietly, consistently, and unconditionally every single day. In a television studio that day, a homework assignment became something sacred, a bridge between earth and heaven, a reminder that the most important lessons aren't taught in classrooms, but in the everyday moments of love between parents and children. And that love, once given, becomes eternal.